Welcome everyone. And you're probably wondering, well, what's up with this Bruticus? Well, you know, we haven't put some stuff on this channel in a while, so I was just gonna catch you guys up to speed because recently I rebought Mega Octane because I was really kind of missing him. And then I was like, you know what, I really kind of miss the overall Ruination, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ruination and Bruticus, it's pretty standard for a G1 combiner. There's nothing spectacular about it. However, I'm waiting on Rotor to show up because, as you can obviously tell, he's missing one of his arms. But the weird thing was I had to reorder Armor Hide also because when you get looking at this one, he is severely discolored. And the camera's like correcting it slightly and it doesn't look as bad, but trust me, in person, this has turned like a greenish gray. So it's had some sun damage to him. But aside from that, what's interesting about this figure is that if you guys have seen my my collection video, basically I have the Combiner Wars version of Bruticus standing in for Ruination, as the Combiner Wars version is in scale with the Legend Scourge, which is bringing everybody back into scale for the RID shelf, somewhat. And so it's funny because Bruticus is standing in for Ruination, whereas Ruination will be standing in for Bruticus with the G1 guys. So there's some madness going on. But now on to some of the fun parts of this video, and we will go ahead and we will start off with Sideswipe. And so you're like, okay, well, what's up with Sideswipe here? You're like, oh, wait a minute, there's something out of the back. And as you can see, yes, he does have his Jetpack, because if you guys saw my earlier video, I missed out on the accessory pack that they were selling. However, there was only about 3 things I wanted out of there, to be honest, and this was kind of one of them. Now, if you guys can see the shape of that, sadly, you cannot attach, well, you can attach this to Optimus, but where it plugs in on Sideswipe, like this much of the rocket pack, like nearly half to a third of it is sticking up, like up above, behind, you know, like behind Prime's head. So it's kind of like sitting, I don't know if you can see it, it would kind of be sitting right about there, and it looks ridiculous. At least now I have this. Now, obviously, I might paint it and see if I can get it closer to the red that Sideswipe is. This doesn't bug me too much. I know that these little dells down here are actually silver, and so I may be doing some alterations on this. But as you can see, it's actually designed with pegs and ports and such to be used with Transformers accessories, so that's kind of cool. Now, on to something about Optimus himself. The Earthrise version, this rifle that he came with, I always felt it was stubby. I mean, I love the big barrel opening on it, but it just didn't feel like it was ever long enough. So one of the other things I ordered from Shapeways was a accurate blaster, because I gave away my Siege version, and you know that was a pretty close. But this is also another iteration of his iconic blaster, and as you can see, if we put them tip to tip, it's just a bit longer, which I know it looks not as big on there, but it makes all the difference in how this blaster looks. So I'm totally digging it. And the thing is unlike Sideswipe's backpack, you know, you really could just leave this unpainted because it's mostly black in the cartoon, and you know, unless I just want like a matte finish, but this is pretty good by itself. So here is Megatron with his Energon Mace / flail, and okay, probably the biggest thing you'll notice is, yes, he has to hold it instead of it looking like it came out of his arm, which, I mean, that's the whole thing with these two guys right here, is that in the cartoon, you see them pulling, you know, swapping out their hands with their weapons. You know, what is this, Transformers Prime? Although, come to think of it, these guys may have actually set the precedent for the, isn't that interesting? Generation 1 set the precedent for Transformers Prime. Now, however, okay, so whereas this axe goes with Optimus because of his, you know, serious stylings and stuff, I kind of thought, okay, am I gonna have, I thought, you know, okay, I'll have to paint the flail. But my thing is, what if actually it's good as is? Because the only paint that I have is metallic, and it would basically just make this look like a metal purple mace. And I thought, okay, wait a minute, this is Sunbow Megatron with his, you know, his light streaks and the way he's colored. I'm like, this solid colored Energon flail, you know, mace it works perfect with Sumbo Megatron. There's no coloring required. So I'm like, okay, I'm down with that. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you a little bit of the stuff that I've acquired recently. It is pretty cool just to kind of see where we're at, especially with, you know, 2020 drawing to a close here in a few months, which instantly dates this video, but like anybody's gonna be watching it. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just making fun of myself, guys. But I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the stuff that we have recently, or that I've recently got. And until next time, guys, maximize.
You can't stop me! You're old, Megatron. Yesterday's model, ready for the scrap heap.